G'day guys, Ivan here from Perth WAtch. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to take a look at this piece which came from GearBest about 2 weeks ago, and I've been using it for a great amount of the last fortnight. So this is a very simple packaging. I'm just going to get straight into it. Inspired by Apple, I suppose, simple tech specs at the back and then just the name of the company at the front. So let's just get into it. You can see very much this type of white packaging, and there we have the product sitting in there. Just that's it, nothing else in the packaging there. And I'm just going to get this off the strap here and show the product to you. So we've got the charger and little bit of a manual in there, and I'll get into it when we take a closer look. So guys, this is the Amazfit Bip, the Xiaomi Huami Amazfit Bip, and really this is quite astounding in many ways. So let's just get into it closely. We'll flip the camera around, go to the table and take a detailed review. Okay guys, so here we have the watch out of the package, and this is really all you get in the package, and incredibly this is actually all you need in the products that we have these days. So it was wrapped around this little box here, and there we go, charging and manual. And just to show you, the manual is very straightforward, just tells you how to charge it, and then it kind of just says download the app please and sync it to your smartphone. Everything else is safety and regulatory notices. There is nothing else that they need to tell you in this little manual here. This is a charging dock, so I'll just show you how it simply connects. So the charging points at the back here, connects onto the dock, and you just kind of press it in, and it's very firm. It's not going to fall out very easily by any means. And then you just connect it to a standard USB port. 5 watt, I presume, will do it, and it will charge, and it charges this in about 2 hours from near 0 to 100%. So a very efficient type of charging delivery. And that's it. That's everything else in the package. So let's just get into the watch itself. So moving through the watch functionality itself, because really I am running a horology channel. So this is a 35mm times 41mm rectangular case here, and it is made of plastic. The thickness here is 9.5mm, so fairly thin really overall. The lug-to-lug distance between my thumbs is 47mm, so fairly decent, despite the fact that this is just a 41mm rectangle. It sticks out a little bit, so it does reach 47mm between my thumbs there. Overall weight is really almost invisible on the wrist here. It is 32 grams. We really very easy to forget this is sitting on your wrist until you see it sitting there, or you get a reminder from the vibration feedback. The glass on top is actually, you can see it's curved on the side there, and it is Corning Gorilla Glass, the same thing that is used on many smartphones these days. It is Gorilla Glass, which has some scratch resistance to it, particularly for touchscreen functionality. In terms of interface, actual button interface, there is only a single button at the 9 o'clock position, and everything else you kind of achieve by touch function. Right, that's it. That's really the watch, and I'll get into the dial displays later. That's the back there with the heart rate monitor for the wrist, and then the charging contacts. The band itself, just moving on to the band, is a quick release. You can see the quick release tabs there, silicone rubber type of strap. It's fairly comfortable, but it is silicone, so it is very much a lint magnet. This will attract lint like no one's business. And it's got a plastic buckle, right? No steel on the buckle here this time. This watch does have a raise to activate function, so meaning that if you hold it down beside you on the standing position and you raise it up towards your face, you can get it to light up automatically to give you a clearer display of the dial. This dial is actually an always on display. You can see that there's no lighting at the moment. And just by the natural light in the room, you can actually read the time pretty clearly. If you press the button, you can see that's the lit up screen. You don't actually need that to light up to read the time pretty easily in a lot of different lighting conditions. And that's something you can appreciate with the type of displays that these watches actually have. So moving on to the dial displays here. So there are actually 10 different dial displays inside the watch that it comes built in. So I'm just going to show you straight into it. I'll go to the settings. Okay, watch face, and you can see, right, there are these different ones. So this one is actually the default in many kind of marketing pictures. This is the default. Sorry, that's a notification that's just come on there. Right, that's the default, but then there are 10 others, right? And then if you can get the smartwatch to sync with it, you can get further displays. Currently, there are 7 custom options. I'll try to put some screenshots to show you what custom options they are. But you know, these are really what's available on the watch itself. If you use a custom option, it does tend to use up more battery power. That's what it warns you about. I'll just show you, I guess, one of my other favorite ones, despite the default, is this one. This one actually gives you almost all the display information that you can get. You got the weather display down the bottom there. You got steps up the top. You got your battery power on the left here, along with the heart rate, the last heart rate it measured, as well as your day and date and calorie here. So there's almost everything you can get on this particular display. So I like this one second best, I think, of all the default ones. So some of the ones that you can get from the App Store that you can download has even more information, as well as a percentage battery monitor if you so choose to get one of those types of displays that give you even more information. So I'm just going to set it back to the default now. Okay, so the core features of this watch, it is a 32.5 millimeter screen, so 1.28 inches is what this screen is. 176 by 176 square pixels. Is always on touch screen, but to activate the touch, you do kind of need to get the button pressed first, and then it lights up, then you can touch it. Usually the touch is not activated. I think that's not a bad thing, because it's very easy to otherwise activate the touch accidentally. So the water resistance rating on this watch is actually IP68. Now IP68 means that it's dust and kind of water ingress resistant. It's supposed to resist submergence under 1 meter plus of water for at least 30 minutes, but the manufacturer is supposed to tell you exactly how long it's supposed to be able to withstand that. They haven't actually stated that. So, at least 1 meter for 30 minutes is what this water resistant rating is. Bluetooth is actually 4.0, and it does actually have built-in GPS plus GLONASS, so the Russian satellite positioning system. So that combination gives you a wider range of coverage across the globe, in my understanding. Wrist heart rate monitor built in there, as I've mentioned already. And it also does have a pedometer, of course, accelerometer based pedometer, which is really the basic function that you really can't turn that off. That's always on there. It does have a built-in compass and barometer as well. In terms of software compatibility, it's iOS 8.0 and Android 4.4. Right, now onto the battery life. The battery life is really the stonking bit of this watch here. 190 milliamp hours of battery, which is not really a great deal, but they managed to squeeze in an amazing 45-day standby life, and apparently you can use up to 45 days even with minimal notifications, as well as the step counter if you turn on other things. So if you turn on notifications from Bluetooth, if you turn on the heart rate monitor full time, or even for sleep, and if you use GPS, of course, it's going to suck the battery. But I've used this for a solid 10 days, including heart rate monitor and exercise, and I've knocked the battery down to, you can see there, 69%. It's really quite amazing. 10 days, you got to believe it's going to go well over a month in terms of battery life on normal use with notifications. Okay, moving on to the custom operating system here. So as you turn it up, you kind of swipe up for notifications, okay, and you kind of just go up, for notifications, and you swipe down for the do not disturb function, as well as to view the battery life. Swipe left, right, gives you weather. You can change that to, I think, Alipay, but I've changed it to weather by default. And then as you swipe this way to the right side, of the screen, you're going to get your status monitor, which gives you your steps, heart rate and all that. Right, moving on, activity. Now activity is a little bit limited. You only really got running, treadmill, cycling and walking at the moment, but they may upgrade that. At the moment it's a little bit limited, but that's all you can choose in terms of the actual activity tracking with GPS and full heart rate monitoring if you want to start an exercise session. Weather, display, alarm, timer, which is countdown timer, as well as the stopwatch function, and then the compass, which is, I'll just show you, it's pretty basic, nothing much more you can expect, and then the kind of like built-in settings there. So that's really the operating system. Very, very basic, but it does what it's supposed to do. And anytime you're in a different screen, you press the button, it will go back. Otherwise accessing is all by the touch screen. To start an exercise activity, you would kind of hold this down, and it kind of like gets the GPS signal and starts the exercise activity, really, and it starts counting kilometers and calories. Kilometers, of course, if you're doing GPS, for example, on cycling or running. And then you just hold it down to stop. And I'm just going to end this. It says the distance is too short, so I'm just not going to go actually create any entry here. Okay, so just going back to the front here. The heart rate monitor, as I mentioned, has automatic full heart rate monitoring 24 hours, or you can just use it for sleep monitoring, which means that it gives you a more accurate sleep tracking. And then in terms of the app custom faces, what it gives you, I'm just going to take my smartphone here and access the app now. Okay, so this is the Mi Fit app, which you can download from either Android or iOS versions. I'm using an iPhone, so this is actually the iPhone iOS version. So what it gives you is basically you can get your Bip here. My Bluetooth is off at the moment, so I'm just going to turn it on and let you see how quickly it actually does connect up. Okay, so not bad at all, right? That took about, I think, 8 seconds to connect up. You can turn on different app notifications, incoming call notifications and whatnot. You do actually have option to turn on the heart rate monitor in different settings, as well as setting your band location. And the other main thing is actually watch faces. So, using this option is the way that you would kind of choose your custom watch faces, which, again, they warn you it uses more battery. The other main thing is looking at your activity. So, sleep tracking, for example, gives you an idea of what's light sleep, deep sleep. And you can go, various nights to see how you're sleeping in different nights. And then going on to heart rate monitor, you get this display, right? So you can kind of like look at different times of day that you've been tracking to see heart rate, and then it gives you various other metrics there, including heart rate zones. And then lastly is actual activity sessions. So, I've tracked 2 different activities of 2-hour duration roughly. So I'm just going to show you the most recent one, so 5.53 kilometers estimated. Now this has actually been counted as a treadmill. What I was doing is actually badminton, so it doesn't actually have that particular sport, but you get these different metrics there. You can get your heart rate chart, and you can actually export it to various formats. Okay, so that's really the app functionality there for the Mi Fit app, which goes with this particular piece here. All right, so that's the watch itself. So I'm just going to put this on the wrist now for a quick wrist shot, of course. And there we have the Xiaomi Amazfit Bip on my 17 centimeter wrist. Now 47 millimeter lug to lug. It's not oversized at all. It's actually very comfortable. It is slightly taller than an Apple Watch, and it very much takes a lot of design cues from the Apple Watch, I think. But this is how it sits on my wrist with that silicone rubber band. So guys, what has been the strengths that I really appreciate about this watch? Well, the battery life, obviously stonking, in fact, record breaking. They tell me battery life, 45 days standby, up to 22 hours for GPS, most intense use. But in realistic terms, you're going to get at least a month out of this, at least when it's new. Overall, it is a pleasure to use, right? It's got a simple operating system. It doesn't achieve too much, it doesn't try to, but it's just straightforward, useful functions that I've shown you there. The finishing inclusions, yes, it is a plastic case, but it is not a badly done plastic case. It's got a fairly nice silicone rubber that's comfortable. It's got that quick release strap there. Gorilla Glass on the top. No ceramic here, but this is what you're getting here for a watch that goes for as cheap as 60 USD. The MSRP is 99 USD, but it does go on sale for as cheap as 60 USD, which is what I've seen. All links for products down the bottom, of course, if you're interested to check this out on the online retailers. It is super light, 32 grams, very, very comfortable at that weight, very easy to forget that it's there. And in terms of value, well, it really, I really don't know if there is anything that can compete with this at the sale price of 60, 70 USD for the features that it gives you, particularly with that amazing battery life, which probably blows everything else out of the water at this range, I reckon. Right, what are the weaknesses? I've mentioned this and alluded to this. The activity choices are very limited. There are only 4 activities built into this. Hopefully they will upgrade it with further upgrades to the operating system. But at the moment, that's one of the weaknesses, and people have criticized this watch for that. Otherwise, the functions are pretty basic, right? Limited notifications. You can't respond on this watch. You can't send SMS. You can't actually answer calls. It just tells you what is happening on your phone, and you have to get your phone to actually respond to any of those things. And then lastly, there is no built-in internal memory to store any additional apps or data if you want to. So no songs, no Bluetooth to headphones. You can only Bluetooth to your phone for the data transfer. So guys, that's the summary of the watch. Really quite a lot of positive features. Let's flip this around now and do the wrap up. So guys, there we have it, my review of the Xiaomi Huami Amazfit Bip. In many ways, really quite amazing if you're in the market for a fitness tracker and don't want to spend too much. For $60 on sale, this piece offers a range of really astounding features that is going to be very difficult to match at this price. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you next time.